The Indian Navy will soon get 2 new nuclear-powered attack submarines for the defense of the Indian Ocean region against any Chinese or Pakistani threat. And we'll tell you why India's noisy neighbor has no answer to these new cutting-edge weapon systems. With this move, India will become only the 6th nation in the world to build an indigenous SSN, including the United States, China, Russia, UK and France. These new SSNs will allow the Indian military to carry out Operation Sindoor at will without being seen or detected by the enemy. Currently, the Indian Navy is ranked 7th most powerful in the world, while the Pakistan Navy languishes in 29th place, well below the likes of Bangladesh Navy, which is ranked higher at 16th in the world according to the World Directory of Modern Military Warships. So 2 new SSNs have been approved by the Modi government. These will be India's first nuclear-powered SSNs, though the Navy already operates 2 indigenous SSBNs or ballistic missile submarines, INS Arihant and INS Arighat, and a third is set to be commissioned soon. Now, what makes the new SSN special is that they will be armed with the Brahmos, the same weapon which was used to devastate the Bahawalpur terror camp, as well as striking multiple Pakistani air bases. Pakistan clearly doesn't have any defense against the Indian Brahmos, but that's just the start. The 2 new SSNs will also be armed with India's new hypersonic missiles under development. The future hypersonic cruise missiles will give them the ability to strike targets up to 2,000 kilometers away from standoff distances. Because they are tactical submarines, they will be deployed directly in combat situations. However, they will not be armed with nuclear missiles. Under Project 77, Larsen & Toubro is working closely alongside the Defense Research and Development Organization, or the DRDO, and the Shipbuilding Center in Visakhapatnam. But what are nuclear-powered attack submarines? These are powered by a nuclear reactor. These submarines will operate underwater for extended durations and with higher speeds than any conventional submarines and even AIP-enabled submarines, giving them immediate tactical advantage over Pakistan's new Hangaur-class submarines. Eventually, India plans to have a fleet of at least 6 new nuclear-powered SSNs. The advanced 2,000-kilometer range hypersonic missiles on these submarines will allow the Indian Navy and the SSNs to target critical enemy assets from safe distances and then plunge below the waves before any counter-strike can be launched. This increased range will allow the Indian Navy to carry out deep penetration attacks while staying outside the detection capabilities of enemy air defenses and anti-submarine systems. L&T is not new to such extensive defense projects and have worked in the past on Arihant-class nuclear submarines, particularly in building hulls and pressure compartments. The firm has earned the trust of the government for Project 77 due to its earlier contributions in submarine manufacturing, and for this critical program, L&T will be producing vital parts at their Hazira facility in Gujarat. The potential threat that needs to be taken care of is Chinese aggression and Chinese push in the Indian Ocean region. Recently, it has been revealed that India is developing this new hypersonic submarine-launched intercontinental ballistic missile as well, called the K6, and trials of this hypersonic ballistic missile will begin soon. The induction of the submarine-launched K6 ICBM will place India in the elite list of countries alongside the United States, United Kingdom, Russia, China and France. The Indian K6 ICBM has an impressive speed of Mach 7 and an extensive range of approximately 8,000 kilometers. That will always be supplemented by the Brahmos. Now, the submarine-launched Brahmos is capable of being launched from a depth of 40 to 50 meters underwater. Launched vertically, the positioned nose cap helps prevent water from air intake while taking flight underwater. Once the missile comes out of the water, the sensor reflects an out-of-water command that pushes the nose cap to fire the missile towards the direction of its target. India currently operates 17 conventional submarines and 2 nuclear-powered SSBNs and will be inducting at least 6 to 10 nuclear-powered submarines over the next 1 to 2 decades. Now, while India is focusing on strengthening its undersea capabilities, where do its adversaries stand? China's People's Liberation Army, or PLAN, operates both nuclear-powered and diesel-electric submarines. Although the PLAN is advancing its nuclear submarine technology, its diesel-electric fleet continues to be the mainstay of its undersea forces. According to reports from the US government, Chinese submarine fleet is projected to expand to around 65 vessels by 2025. The country currently has about 60 submarines in its fleet. Ballistic missile submarines, it has about 6. Nuclear-powered attack submarines, or SSNs, it has about 6. Diesel-electric attack submarines, 48 in number, and out of these, 21 are equipped with air-independent propulsion, or the AIP. Though quite frankly, much of the Chinese naval forces are aimed at competing with the US naval superiority in the Pacific. The Pakistan Navy operates a fleet of 5 diesel-electric attack submarines and in total 3 MG-110 mini submarines. It has a total of 8 submarines in its fleet. Islamabad, however, is in the process of inducting 8 Hangar-class submarines from China. Despite that, Bharat will continue to hold the naval edge in the Indian Ocean region, including the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal regions. Now, India has changed its military doctrine after the Pahalgam terror attack in Kashmir. Any future acts of terror by Pakistan-based groups will invite a military response from India. Earlier, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh had announced that it would be the Navy that could lead the next assault in the next India-Pakistan war.
इस बार की ओपनिंग और किसी के द्वारा ना हो, हमारी नेवी के द्वारा होगी.
So if India seeks its rightful place as a 21st century global superpower, then it needs to protect its sea lanes with a truly blue water navy. And this rise needs to be driven by indigenous manufacturing and tech. But what do you believe? Should India invest more in nuclear submarines or build more aircraft carriers? India has sped up its defense development capabilities and can now roll out cutting-edge missiles in just 2 to 3 years, down from a decade. The country's new indigenous defense ecosystem is taking the defense production process to new levels, which is able to support more such time-bound defense development. Former chief of the DRDO and president of Aeronautical Society of India, Dr. G. Satish Reddy, described this as a huge leap in technology. While he mentioned other nations who are already capable of doing this, India's becoming one of them is huge. He claimed, quote, "Countries like the US, Russia and China have decades of experience, but India's ability to develop missiles in just 2 to 3 years now places us in a competitive position." India will soon clear a 20,000 crore rupee tri-services acquisition of 87 domestic-made medium-altitude long-endurance or MALE unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs. The proposal is demanding 60% local content and is yet to go through high-level meeting of the Defense Ministry. The drones would need to have a service ceiling above 35,000 feet and an endurance of over 30 hours, where the deployment will help the Indian military to have 24/7 surveillance across the line of control, line of actual control, and the Indian Ocean region. Despite India's victory in Operation Sindoor, the conflict highlighted the need for UAV weapon systems to have deeper surveillance over hostile areas. Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button, and subscribe to Inconnect News.